The Caribbean National Forest, El Yunque, is the only tropical rainforest in the United States. It is an excellent example of the incredible biodiversity present in tropical forests, especially tropical rainforests. There are thousands of plant species, including 150 fern species, 50 orchid species, more than 240 tree species, only in this area, which is 43 square miles. 23 of these tree species aren't found anywhere else in the world. Despite its small area, there are 13 species of coqui frog, 11 species of bats. At one site, more than 1,200 insect species were identified. A number of endangered species, including the Puerto Rican parrot, one of the most endangered birds in the world, are found here. And so this is an excellent example of the incredible biodiversity in tropical forests. Globally, tropical forests are critical for animal biodiversity and plant biodiversity, given that more than half of plant and animal species occur here. Tropical forests are critical for the global carbon cycle, given that a third of plant productivity occurs here, and for water cycles and the climate of neighboring areas, given that a third of evapotranspiration occurs in tropical forests. Given that this is the most significant ecosystem in terrestrial environments, it becomes important to ask, how will climate change affect tropical forests? And the reality is it's almost impossible to guess. Most species are not well studied for thermal tolerances. Many haven't even been identified yet. There is no one mature tree species whose thermal tolerances have been studied. So, how many could survive the 2 to 4 degrees Celsius temperature increase predicted by the year 2100? We simply don't know. What might be the aspect of temperature increase which would have the greatest effect? Would it be the increased average temperature? Would it be brief periods of record heat? These questions simply can't be answered at this point. If there is simply too little information gathered from modern organisms to make accurate predictions, does the geologic past offer any suggestions? There was a mass extinction that occurred in between the Paleocene and Eocene epochs, known as the Paleo-Eocene thermal maximum, in which a 4 to 6 degree temperature rise caused mass extinctions. Although it was warmer than the current day during the last interglacial epoch, in between glacial epochs, about 130 to 115,000 years ago. Since then, it has generally been colder than it is today, and so arguably most modern species would have been under selective pressure to adapt to colder temperatures rather than that time period 115,000 years ago when it was warmer than today. It is seen in many environments, but also in tropical forests, that specific plant and animal species live at certain altitudes. As the climate warms, then species tend to move farther up the mountain to find the same temperature range. Obviously, a problem for those at the top, which may become extinct because there's no longer a cooler habitat that they can find. This suggests that in tropical forests, like elsewhere, many species have narrow temperature ranges that they tolerate, and thus temperature increases could cause extinctions. There are other effects which climate change will have other than the increase of temperature. It is predicted to affect rainfall amounts, lessening rainfall in some areas, and increasing the frequency of drought. In addition, the deforestation, which occurs in tropical regions as humans claim more and more of the land, decreases the evapotranspiration, which occurs in deforested areas, which would affect rainfall in the forested areas. This could then increase the risk of wildfires, of disease, and of invasive species and other threats. The previous images were of regions in Paraguay that were once subtropical forests, and clearly the deforested areas have nowhere near the plant species, the animal species, the plant biomass, or the effect on local climate that the forests once had. And this will be an increasing concern because not only is human population increasing, but it is increasing quickly in tropical regions. By the year 2050, it is thought that half of global population will live in tropical regions, and thus tropical forests will face increasing pressure not only from climate change, but also from the growing human population.